Here's another question from one of our viewers who built a house on an existing flat floor slab and is now dealing with water leaks around the perimeter of the building. And when I tried to explain to them what was going on, they simply suggested that they could add some type of a sealant, and that might work sometimes. And if you want to see an example of that, skip to the last section of the video. However, if not, let's go ahead and first take a look at standard construction with stucco and siding, where the weep screed for the stucco along with the building paper or even additional layers of building paper need to extend past the bottom of the framing plate or the top of the concrete building foundation floor to allow water, like when it's raining, to run off of the front of the building, around the front of the building foundation and onto the ground to prevent water from getting into those areas. So the weep screed you can see here is a little lower, and the building paper is going to go over that. And most building departments require 6 inches either from the top of the floor or the bottom of the stucco to the top of the soil for a situation like this, to allow for the water to drain off of the building, and in most cases the ground should be sloping away from the building, also allowing the water to drain away from the building and not puddle up around the building. And if you pour a concrete sidewalk or patio around the building, they're usually going to want a 2-inch minimum from the bottom of the stucco or the bottom of the siding to the top of the concrete. And you can see here where a situation like this also will allow the water to drain away from the building if the concrete is sloping away from the building also. And of course, here is where the problem is going to go from bad to worse by building a smaller building on top of a wider or larger concrete foundation that might also be an existing foundation, and not dropping the concrete down so that the standing water that sits on top of the concrete won't be able to flow in through any crack or crevice here and into the building, where you might have a nice piece of carpeting or a natural wood floor that is going to get ruined. And I don't want to say you can't seal this somehow with some type of a sealant and metal flashing, but I can tell you that if you don't do anything, there's a good chance that you're going to end up with a situation like this unless you live in an area where it does not snow or rain. And even if this was sloping, you could still end up with a heavy downpour where the water would be backing up in this area and wouldn't be flowing away from the building as fast, allowing the water to get through any crack or crevice here and into your house. So what's the moral to this story? If you're going to build something on top of an existing concrete foundation, that you might want to figure out how to seal the area at the bottom here and deal with the fact that you might not have any concrete footings here. The concrete footings might be on the perimeter of the building, and that would be if there were any concrete footings to begin with in the first place.